From jaguars and leopards to alligators and crocodiles, here are 15 lookalike animals that are unrelated. Number 15. Aardvarks and anteaters. They are both mammals with long snouts and an appetite for ants, and both names start with the letter A, yet they belong to different species. Anteaters are found in South America, while aardvarks are native to Africa, where they're sometimes called the ant bear. Both aardvarks and anteaters use their claws for digging, but the latter has especially large curved foreclaws used for attacking anthills or for self-defense. Experts say the superficial similarities derive from convergent evolution. That term refers to the phenomenon of unrelated species independently evolving similar features. It can occur in plants and animals, as we'll see in this episode. Experts say it happens when different species occupy similar ecological niches and adapt to those challenges in a similar manner. Number 14. Butterflies and moths. Given the resemblance, it's no surprise that these insects belong to the same scientific order, and it contains some 180,000 species. Experts say that it's one of the most widespread and recognizable order of insects in the world. While you might think of moths as nocturnal creatures that flutter around your lamp, some of them are active during the day, and they can show up in spectacular colors like their butterfly counterparts. Some even drink nectar as they hover around flowers. One way to tell these animals apart is by the antennae. Most butterflies display a thickened region toward the end of the appendage. Moths have antennae that are more slender and feathery and tapers to a point. Or try watching their wings when the insects land. Moths will wrap their wings around their bodies. Butterfly wings will stay vertical above their bodies. Number 13. Sheep and goats. Both of these domestic animals have cloven hooves and belong to the same family as cows, bison, and water buffalo. While they're never mistaken for those beasts, the two species are sometimes confused with one another. Experts say that one way to differentiate them is to look at the tail. Sheep tails usually hang down, while goat tails are typically held upward. While they share a similar diet, sheep tend to be grazers and eat low-growing vegetation across pastures. Goats are browsers and are very curious by nature. The cliche of these animals eating tin cans isn't entirely accurate, but it has a basis in fact. They won't actually eat material that is inedible, but they will investigate it, especially if it resembles plant matter. Other differences include the goat's greater agility that allows it to climb trees in search for food. Number 12. Spiders and insects. Do you ever catch yourself calling spiders insects? Of course, spiders are arachnids, and arachnids have 8 legs while insects have 6 legs. Insects will also usually have wings and antennae, whereas spiders do not. But spiders can have 8 eyes in addition to their 8 legs and have bodies comprised of 2 parts, a combined head and thorax and abdomen. Insects have 3 parts to their bodies: head, thorax, and abdomen. Spiders and insects do have a few things in common though. Both are invertebrates and both are arthropods. Number 11. Bison and buffalo. The terms are commonly confused in the US. A clue as to which animal is which lies in their points of origin. Buffaloes are native to Asia and Africa. Bison hail from North America and Europe. Early settlers in America misnamed the bison due to their resemblance to buffalo. There are distinct physical differences in the species, including the bison's much larger head and shoulders. Their horns are much smaller compared to the huge curling horns of buffalo. Bison tend to be hairier beasts, while buffalo have shorter hair that's more suitable for the warmer habitats of Asia and Africa. Number 10. Pangolins and armadillos. Did you know at one time these scaly mammals were thought to be related? Pangolins were placed within a suborder that included armadillos, sloths, and anteaters. That was revised when DNA research suggested that pangolins are more closely related to carnivores. Even so, pangolins are still nicknamed scaly anteaters. Even though the resemblance is physically superficial, armadillos and pangolins share a similar defense mechanism. When feeling threatened, both critters will roll up into a ball and let their scaly armor protect them. In the case of pangolins, their armor plates are especially sharp, which adds an extra measure of protection. All species of armadillos are found in the Americas, while pangolins are found in Africa and Asia. Number 9. Salamanders and lizards. While many creatures that resemble one another belong to the same species, that's not the case here. Salamanders are amphibians, while lizards are reptiles. But they are still often mistaken for each other. Some key differences can be found in their behaviours. Salamanders stay near the water, while lizards can be found in various climates, including those that are hot and arid. Lizards have longer toes than salamanders, and bodies that are scaly. Salamanders are smooth-skinned and typically won't grow as large as lizards. After all, the largest extant lizard is the Komodo dragon at 10 feet long, 3 meters, and weighing around 150 pounds or 68 kilograms. The Chinese giant salamander, the world's largest amphibian, goes about 6 feet long and can weigh up to 100 pounds or 45 kilos. Number 8. Hedgehogs, porcupines, and echidnas. Remember when we mentioned convergent evolution? Here's another example. All three of these critters have quills or spines that give them a passing resemblance to one another. But they don't share a common spiny ancestor, so that's where the similarity ends. Their spines evolved separately, and in the case of porcupines, two groups developed those quills. The New World species in the Americas and the Old World species found from Europe and Africa to Asia. Among the three animals listed here, only porcupines are rodents, which is evident from their large front teeth. While they eat vegetation, hedgehogs are omnivores that eat insects, fruit, and frogs. As for echidnas, they're found throughout Australia and New Guinea. One big difference between them and the other critters is that they're one of the world's few monotremes. Those are mammals that lay eggs. In addition to resembling porcupines and hedgehogs, echidnas are sometimes mistaken for anteaters. Number 7. Donkeys and mules. The confusion between these two equine critters kind of makes sense. A mule is actually part donkey. They're the result of breeding a male donkey, or jack, with a female horse, or a mare. The larger bodies of mules can resemble horses along with their teeth, tails, and coats. Donkeys are noted for their stubbornness, which is largely rooted in a strong sense of self-preservation. But mules are said to be more patient, stronger, and more intelligent than donkeys, or horses for that matter. Number 6. Hares and rabbits. They resemble each other greatly, so it's not surprising that the critters belong to the same order of mammals. But hares tend to grow larger than rabbits and have stronger legs and larger feet. That's a reason why they tend to outrun their predators. Rabbits will usually escape to their warrens when threatened. Did you know that hares are often called jackrabbits? Number 5. Dolphins and porpoises. At first glance, these animals can appear identical to one another, and their names are sometimes used interchangeably. While they're both cetaceans, they belong to different families, and dolphins have numbers on their side. There are nearly 40 species of dolphins, which includes orcas. The porpoise family only has 7 members, including the vaquita, which is critically endangered. The two animals can be differentiated by their body shapes. Dolphins are more streamlined, with curved dorsal fins and pointed faces. Porpoises have rounded faces and are heftier. Assuming you can see their teeth, that's another giveaway. Dolphin teeth have a cone shape, while porpoises have teeth that are spade-shaped. Number 4. Frogs and toads. While they're commonly mistaken for one another, the distinction seems to have its origins in the popular culture more than the scientific taxonomy. The name toad is applied to certain types of frogs. Those animals will typically have dry, thick skin and exhibit wart-like bumps. The bumps cover glands that contain a poison to deter predators that try to eat them. The substance can also irritate human skin, but it won't cause warts. Frogs are identified by their slimy appearance that results from their smooth, wet skin. Toads have shorter legs that results in hopping, but frogs can really jump and are linked to aquatic habitats. Toads more often occur in terrestrial habitats and aren't as dependent on water to survive. Number 3. Leopards, jaguars, and cheetahs. One way to tell these species apart is by their homelands. Jaguars are found in the Americas, while leopards and cheetahs occur primarily in Africa. Along with their respective size differential, another way to separate them is by the patterns on their coats. While looking at them will make you see spots, leopards and jaguars can be differentiated by their rosettes. Jaguars have rosettes with central spots that are larger. Leopards have spots that are smaller and more densely packed, and have no central spotting. Cheetahs have about 2,000 solid black spots in patterns that are unique to the individual. There is one major difference that doesn't involve the markings of these critters. Cheetahs are not typically regarded as one of the 5 big cats since they occupy a separate genus, but they can outrun the others since they're recognized as the fastest animals on land. Number 2. Alligators and crocodiles. It's understandable that these two reptiles can be confused for one another. They both belong to the same order of Crocodilia, which also includes caimans. So while the two large reptiles do resemble each other, some of the differences include their tolerance for salt water. Crocs have special glands that help them expel excess salt and stay comfortable in saline environments. Without such glands as fully developed in alligators, they tend to favour freshwater habitats. The heads of crocodiles have more of a longer V shape, while alligators have a rounded snout in a U shape. Also, crocs can be more aggressive than alligators. And in the wild, they can be found in many places around the world. Their gator cousins are native only to the United States and China. Number 1. Apes and monkeys. There are many ways to discern the difference between these two species, but maybe the quickest and easiest way is to look for a tail. If the critter doesn't have a tail, it's an ape. If it does have a tail, then it's a monkey, although there are exceptions. Overall, monkeys tend to be smaller and will run along tree branches. That's as opposed to apes, who will swing from branch to branch. Apes tend to display more advanced cognitive skills than do monkeys, and can communicate with humans through sign language. They also display human-like behaviours like making simple tools. And in terms of genetic similarities, apes are much closer to humans than monkeys. Common chimpanzees, for example, have a genetic makeup that is nearly identical to ours. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell for notifications for our next exciting episode right here on Epic Wildlife.